Hi, I'm Maggie Linton. Welcome to Business Essentials, a video guide for new, small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses in Montgomery County, Maryland. This short video is intended to give you a brief overview of important issues when starting or growing a business. It's not intended to be a comprehensive guide, but instead information designed to point you in the right direction. For years, many entrepreneurs have complained about the government red tape it takes to start and operate a business, but Montgomery County is determined to cut all the red tape and get rid of it altogether. The person tasked with this enormous responsibility is Jake Weissmann. Jake is an Assistant Chief Administrative Officer for the Montgomery County Government. He oversees the county's economic development and housing and transportation programs. He has extensive experience in county and state government and has worked for the Maryland Senate. Jake is an attorney, but also has a master's in social work. This unique combination gives him the ability to understand how communities and the people in them actually operate. Most importantly, for our purposes here today, Jake knows the county business resources like the back of his hand, and I've seen it. Welcome to Business Essentials, Jake.
Thank you so much for having me, Maggie.
We talked about the red tape right at the very beginning. You want to say the county is open for business, right?
Absolutely, and the county is open for business. We appreciate everybody who takes that risk, and it's an enormous risk to open up a business of their own and decide that they want to go out in the community and add to the incredibly vibrant community that is Montgomery County. We have 33,000 business institutions in Montgomery County, and many of them are the retail, restaurant, service industries that we experience day to day but don't get the headlines, and we want to make it as easy as possible to open and sustain a business here in the county.
Well, when a person is first starting out, I know you're saying the door is open, but where do they really start? Is it with their idea and going and finding the right resources?
Yeah, obviously you want to have the right idea and vet it with groups, and there are some great groups out there that are partners to the county, groups like the Montgomery County Black Collaborative, for example, and others that can help vet ideas and help work with entrepreneurs. But what we like to say is the first place you want to go when you're going to open up a business, before you sign the lease, as Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez likes to say, is you go to the Montgomery County Business Center. Right? Make a plug, montgomerycountymd.gov/business. You go there and you allow us to help you get through everything and know from the top what you need and how long it's going to take you to be able to establish a business here in the county.
Because some people really think it probably happens overnight, and it really doesn't. There are rules you have to follow, aren't there?
Absolutely. And for example, if you're opening up a restaurant in the county, the government has to make sure that it's safe and well equipped, that there's fire standards are being followed, and that the building has the proper safety precautions, both to keep the food safe but also to keep the customers safe. Any number of businesses have any number of rules that they need to follow, but the goal is to help people do that in a expeditious manner and with a customer service face.
And I'm sure there's examples of whether you do or don't serve liquor too.
Absolutely.
And that puts you in another whole category, doesn't it?
There are, it's interesting, we did an analysis, there are about 200 licenses when you add in both the state, the county, and for certain places in the county municipalities, Gaithersburg, Rockville, Tacoma Park. And knowing which license you need is often tricky. Some businesses are simple. If you're opening up an accounting business, for example, you need to move into the business, you need to have your CPA license, you need to have your business license from the state. There's maybe only 3 or 4. If you're opening up a restaurant or a manicurist or a salon or any number of other issues that might involve health and safety that has regulations on both the state and local level, it becomes a lot faster.
The paperwork is always a nightmare. I don't care what you're doing, just paying our taxes is going to be a nightmare. Let's talk a little bit, lean a little bit more into that, because people really need to understand that even for a lot of the licenses, there's a fee. And getting those correct also steers your business in the right direction.
Absolutely, and that's why we urge folks to come to the business center. And what we have created, the county executive has created with the Business Center, is a group of folks within county government whose sole purpose is to help businesses be able to open better. So we have a small business navigator, Nadia Klute, whose job it is to find the complexities and the inefficiencies in government and go to places like the Department of Permitting Services and say, we've gotten 10 complaints about this issue. Let's talk about how to make this form easier. Let's talk about how we can reduce or get rid of this regulation. But we also have these liaisons whose job it is to both take in the concerns that we have. You can go onto this website within 48 business hours, you will hear back from one of our liaisons about how they can help you. But they also go out into the community. And it's a really important part of government that has been missing is not just being reactive, but being proactive. Going and knocking on a door of a business, and instead of saying, hey, we're from the government and you've got this problem or this problem, to say, hey, we're from the government, there are no problems here, but we want to know about your business. We want to know what we can do to help you more successful.
You know, you mentioned that going to the business, because restaurant, nail place, whatever the place, it needs to be inspected. You need to know ahead what you might be missing as well as what you've done well.
Absolutely. And what we have tried to do, not just with the Business Center, but with county government in general, is make a more customer service focus. And I think for the longest time, in any level of government, we've seen fair concerns that government says we are here not as partners, but as opponents. That we are here to make sure that you're doing what's right, and we're gonna just clamp down on anything you're doing wrong. And instead, we're trying to take this different approach. So our Department of Permitting Services is finalizing a customer bill of rights. So anybody who walks in to deal with permitting knows what they can expect from that department and can hold us accountable. The county executive has made customer service a priority for every department. If you go onto any county department's website, you will see the customer service pledge and a form that folks can fill out if they get bad customer service that goes directly to the county executive. And as somebody who's received a couple of those complaints and had to deal with them, I can promise you they actually do get right to the county executive.
All right. Well, that's good to know, because a lot of people are saying nobody's listening to me. And you all are trying to make it more accessible, like you said, going on to the website. But say somebody is not computer friendly.